is Raven Turner, and I'm going to be explaining how medicine and anatomy is basically based off of any political or social economic view or narrative. Um, so before I even start, I just want to say race and ethnicity and sometimes religion definitely plays a part in anatomy, and I know like they're trying to stop it from being so like observable or like so easy to see, and they're basically like suing people or firing them just because of if they refuse to work with, like if they're white and they refuse to work with a black person, like they're taking in um precautions, and they're like not allowing it in their facilities is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I would say basically back like a long time ago, people were well, not even a long time ago, but black people were definitely getting treated differently in a lot of facilities, and it's still going on today. It's just swept under the rug easier now, but black people were definitely getting treated wrong. They were being denied certain medicines that they needed to survive, like doing simple things like changing their bed covers. Like it doesn't matter, like in hospitals, in nursing clinic, like nursing homes and stuff like that. It was just bad for black people all around, and it's not only black people. It definitely has something to do with race. And if you weren't white in America, then you were basically like pushed aside, like when it came to care. So um I would definitely say physical features definitely matter when it comes to, for example, like when you go get your physical and they weigh you. In black communities, there are a lot more thicker people and like naturally thicker people than in other communities, and that also has a lot to do with like what you eat on a daily and how you eat it. But yeah, and that is actually really common in black people. So like as a young child, being told that you're overweight and like you don't fit like the scale on the papers, it is not really, it doesn't really have something to do with you. It's just how the world standard is, and they really just expect it for everybody to fit in a certain group or a certain weight class, when that's not the case, because most black people are thick, are naturally stronger, and well, not stronger, but they have more muscle built in their body. So to like basically back up what I was saying about black people having more of like muscle mass and more weight naturally, I'm gonna refer to Sir Art G. Bartman. Um, she was basically like just passed around, um, so that people could like look at her features, her natural features, because like they couldn't believe that one person had such a like a build. Like she was thick and she had a big butt, and it was just they were all like measuring her and stuff. And here's pictures of her being measured. Like they just couldn't believe it, and she wasn't necessarily looked at as a prize, but people were definitely like like they were in disbelief. I'm gonna go to is Fannie Lou Hammer. She was basically sent to the hospital, and they ended up removing her tumor. I'm sorry, they ended up giving her basically a hysterectomy and removed her like uterus and stuff when she didn't go in for that. And that's gonna go back to where black people were definitely treated differently when it came to trying to like get treated for different things. And she lost her ability to have children and stuff. So I couldn't really find any of the stories. The only one I found was All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. So I can just go based off of what I believe the story is about from the title. So I mean of the stories I didn't read. So for Dying to Be Loved, how societal narratives about love and the body impact medical autonomy, I believe that that basically means that well, not it means, but I believe that the question is asking me like to answer. So for that, I believe that the question is um so for that, I believe that the answer would be like people or anatomy only sees two genders, girl or boy. And this also goes for All Boys Aren't Blue. They only see girl or boy. They only see black and white. So it's like until yeah, they only see black and white. And so if someone was like, "Oh, what's the gender of my baby?" Like they're not gonna be like, "Oh, well, you can choose the gender." Like no, it's either a girl or a boy. So that's one thing with anatomy, especially like in ultrasounds and in labor and delivery. Like it's gonna come out a girl or boy, or it could be an intersex. Um, born with um the same like gender amount, so then they become girl and boy. But besides, I feel like that's really rare. But besides that, um, yeah, anatomy definitely sees two genders, and it's not really fair to the LGBTQ community because if they feel a certain way or they feel like they could be different, then that's what they feel. So, and if they were to go to the doctor and they would be called a boy, but they want to like identify as a girl, then it's just going to be very uncomfortable for them. So, yeah. Recovering Against Personal Enemies by Jordan Wiggins. The role of personal and collective healing in body autonomy. Um, I feel like with this, anatomy basically believes that like medicine is always going to be the fix for stuff, and sometimes it's not. Like sometimes, or psychology. Well, some things can be psychological, but medicine wise, I feel like medicine can't fix everything. So I feel like when it comes to healing, for like people with like depression and stuff, like medicine can't always fix that. And sometimes medicine actually gives people depression and anxiety and all of that. Like it's a side effect. So definitely can't always fix it. Sometimes psychology works. Sometimes like just filling your mind with what you want it to be filled with can work. Just doing different stuff. But medicine is not always the fix for it. So AABA statements on race was basically that races are not biological, and there are a variety of races within the human, like within the human population. Personally, I feel like the black woman Jezebel stereotype is not like it's very much so shown in like movies and TV series such as like especially with Tyler Perry movies. His movie shows all types of black people, but it mainly focuses on a black woman who's being cheated on by her husband. Like that's most of them, or like their husband doesn't want them. But the Jezebel one, um, just has to sit through it, or just something that will end up like in the end will put a black woman down. Well, no two people can win. I don't really agree with that stereotype, especially because it's shown in movies. It's not really fair because that's basically when they see that they're gonna think, oh, you're either the person being cheated on or the person being cheated with. It's very much so implemented within black people. People feel like they just have to work so much 10 times harder than another race to even get up on their feet. That feeling was always there, and it was just passed through generation, and it's still going on. They have to have 3 jobs to take care of their family. They have to do this, they have to do that. Sometimes in hustle culture, like they don't even focus on their health. Like they'll rather go to work and make money than to go to a doctor. If they feel like they're about to faint before going to work, oh, they can't go. I mean, they would rather just go to work because they feel like if they miss like this one time, they're not gonna be able to pay their bills just because of a headache, even though it could be something bigger. But so I would say like with Latin Americans and Hispanics, that's not even only with black people though. Like that's hustle culture is like in everybody's culture, but mostly in like the minority groups. So for Hispanics and Latin Americans, it has to be like really hard for them because like if they were to go into a doctor or go to a store or even be pulled over by police, like anything, and they don't speak English, it's like I can't understand you, you can't understand me. So going into the doctor, what if they don't want a certain room? They want their room to be changed. They don't know how to say it. Or if they just got into a car crash and they're sent to the hospital, they don't know how to tell the people like, if they're allergic to something or anything. So I just feel like that I feel like in every hospital there should be like at least 5 translators, like, and they can also be discriminated against as well because if a doctor doesn't feel like doing something, like say it's a protocol but they just don't feel like doing it, and they're like, okay, well, they don't know that this is the protocol because they can't read in English or they can't understand what I'm saying, so I might as well just not even do it. Like when I have to go over, hey, how you doing, my name is blah blah, I'm gonna be taking care of you, so I need you to do this, do that, do this, do that, so that we can continue with the procedure. The Hispanic person on the other end, they're not understanding what they're saying, so the doctor just they might just skip all of that and just be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take care of you and then get you out of here. And then they don't have their consent, so they have a lack of trust within the healthcare facility because of that reason. I really do. I see it a lot in even working like retail. Um, Hispanic like customers would get treated like they wouldn't get their greeting. like, hey, how you doing? Did you find everything okay today? Like, some people wouldn't even say it because they're like, oh, well, they wouldn't understand me anyway, so I might as well just not. So imagine if they're getting treated like that in retail. I know it's probably way more common in medicine than we know, or anatomy. It's very important to make sure that everything you're doing is in the book. Like, if a doctor tells you to go like take care of a certain patient, but this patient has like high blood pressure, and the doctor tells you to go give them some food with salt in it. Just because they're a doctor does not mean that it's no, like, you have to go by the book, and you should definitely double check. Like, even if the doctor says, oh, I don't want him on my I don't want this person with me no more because they don't know how to follow my rules. Okay, at least I'm gonna still be getting money. I'm still gonna be getting paid. I just don't want to get paid with you, because why would you, like, you're risking me because I'm going to be the one to give it to them. To make sure that you're doing everything by the book just to protect your medical license, because doctors will really try stuff like that, and it's not really fair because, like, they're not going to take the fall for it, and like, facilities would rather take somebody with more experience than a new person. So I would just, yeah, that's not really fun. I would say, like, getting into nursing as a black person is actually it's common, but it's like a congratulations, like, you actually made it. Like, besides, you beat all the odds and you actually did it. So yeah, I would definitely say that it wasn't fair to people who used to have to go to the doctor and just be treated any type of way. But now I feel like it's definitely more diverse, like more black doctors, more black nurses, more black ultrasound techs, more black surgical techs. Like, it's definitely, but just because they're black, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be treated better because you're black as a patient.